Okay, we are going to talk about the latest case out, that is Patterson versus the NCAA, where we have current Vanderbilt players and some former athletes who are coming together to challenge the 5-year eligibility rule in the NCAA. Let me be clear. 4 years of eligibility, 5 years total playing time, including the Redshirt Rule, right? So they're saying that those two things work against athletes who do not take a red shirt. Okay. So before we do that, you see I'm repping Oklahoma. Okay. Did a great job in that getting that W against Michigan. The defense looked stout. The offense stayed on the field almost the entire fourth quarter. Made sure Michigan was not going to make any headway. Nice win for Coach Venables and the Sooners. Okay. So now back to this case. So they're challenging both the 4-season rule and the redshirt rule. And they are arguing, okay, plain English version, that the folks who have themselves together are penalized because they don't get a 5th year. Let me quote some things here. Okay. So in the filing, okay, here's the quote. It says that the rule punishes athletes who are higher achieving earlier in their career and rewards athletes who choose to redshirt and are able to maximize their eligibility and commercial opportunities for a 5th season in a way that college athletes who excel cannot. So I first read this and this sounded petty. It was like, so the smart kids are complaining that they're the smart kids? But then I started to think about it a little more deeply. Okay, so there's this whole line of cases in the JuCo space, okay, where Diego Pavia out of Vanderbilt was the first one to argue that, hey, my 2 years in JuCo should not count against my eligibility in the NCAA. Okay, JuCo is not NCAA. Okay, and so under the 4-year rule, 5 seasons total, okay, 2 years in JuCo meant that he could only spend an additional 3 years max, okay, including a potential redshirt year in Division I, NCAA. And he's like, that's not fair. I don't know why JuCo rules count against what I do in the NCAA. I should get 4 years in the NCAA. And he was victorious. Okay, he got an injunction. Now, Jet Elad comes by. Okay, in Jet's case, he started off Division I, okay, had some problems, went to JuCo in the middle, then came back Division I. And it's like, hey, I want my 5th year. And the court said, yeah, we think that's right because we think you're going to be harmed financially if you don't get that 5th year. Because the court has now considered that the eligibility rules are commercial in nature. And the amount of time that you can spend is commensurate with the amount of money that you can make. Okay. So that's what they said with the JuCo. So now you've got these players who are not JuCo athletes and who are just saying, hey, why if I'm not academically at risk, I am athletically ready to play, why do I only get 4 years when now the 5th year can be very valuable? Now, keep in mind, Zeigler, earlier this year, I talked trash about Zeigler because he was a 4-year starter. He's a 4-year player at the University of Tennessee basketball, had a very successful career, okay, had graduated, was done. 4 years were up. He brought a claim saying, hey, I want to play a 5th year. And my reaction to that was, dude, you just need to go get a job because you're not going to get drafted. You need to go get a job. Now, practically speaking, that was correct. But then I read the case and then I began to understand why he was not successful and why these athletes or some athletes that follow will figure out the nut to crack on this eligibility rule situation, which will create all other kinds of issues. But we're not there yet. Okay. So when I read the Zeigler opinion, essentially Zeigler indicated, hey, I have an opportunity to make a lot more money in my 5th year, and the NCAA is preventing me from doing that. And the court essentially said, yeah, but the NCAA is not who pays you in this current environment. Okay. Neither the NCAA nor a member institution is where your NIL dollars come from currently. Currently, those dollars comes from collectives that are unaffiliated third parties not connected to the school or the NCAA. So the harm is not one that the NCAA can fix, because the harm nor the member institutions are controlling the dollars. So Zeigler had a timing issue, because with the current set of facts now that we're post-house settlement, where the institution itself is paying athletes, suddenly the argument the court relied in Zeigler case doesn't hold up anymore. Because in fact, the member institution of the NCAA is in fact the organization, the entity that is paying the athlete. So that's why this current case has some legs. Okay? Because these guys are saying, if I do well, I'm academically prepared, I'm athletically prepared, I come out the gate and I'm running, I only get 4 years. But these people that have problems get 5. And because now eligibility can turn into dollars, turn into cash, I am penalized if I don't get the 5 full years because I did a good job. And so when you start doing math, that is correct. Now, I do not know if these plaintiffs will be victorious in the Patterson case. Okay. But I do understand now that what the court is indicating is eligibility rules are dollars. So they're commercial in nature. And so the combination of the 4-year eligibility, 4 years playing, and 5 years total, including redshirt, the whole eligibility window is a commercial window, and cutting someone off from maximizing that window is a restraint of trade and cutting people's dollars off. Now, there are other cascading effects that come once that rule breaks. It has not broken, but folks are chipping at it. And at some point, a steady knock on a rock is going to break it. So we will see what happens with Patterson and other cases that may follow. But I understand now the argument that these athletes are making, that now they are in a disadvantaged position because they just came ready. And folks who did not come ready get the benefit of 5 years instead of 4. Okay. So we'll talk more as it continues to evolve. I'm just fascinated that I finally, cracked the nut on why the courts were entertaining all this, and it finally makes sense. Happy to talk to you more about it. Let me know what you think.